Well, the question will be more so for the speaker. If she was so confident, I thought we were having that vote on Monday. Are we still having that vote today? I'm not sure. We'll find out. Yes, sir.
But the question for you is, where are your members? I mean, we know what she's saying. Where do you think your members are?
I think the majority of overwhelming amount of our members are going to vote no because they don't view it as an infrastructure bill. Our conference wants to have an infrastructure bill. I went to the White House in the Oval Office, and that's exactly what I told the president. We want to build roads, highways, bridges, broadband, airports. We want to reform NEPA. We want to make sure this happens so it gets built in less than a decade. And we want to be able to make sure America is competitive. What we found is we got a bill with nobody on committee on the Republican side working on it. We now found that the Democrats, from the President Biden to Bernie Sanders, the budget chairman, to Nancy Pelosi, that it's no longer one bill. It's reconciliation with infrastructure. That's not something we want. That's not something we can afford, and that's not something we support. Yes.
So John Young is the dean of the House.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around here a long time.
Yeah.
And he says he's going to vote for this. He says
Okay.
It's not a perfect bill, but he sees enough that can benefit his constituents. Kind of back to Jake's point, if you're thinking about every member of your conference representing your constituency, are you confident that you can keep it from going more than 8 votes? Because really, Pelosi can only afford to lose.
I don't know what her whip count is. I can't tell you that. All I know is they are the majority. They should have enough votes. I listened to the speaker claim that she's having challenges because somehow seats are not filled. She's only 1 vote short of where a full Congress is at. So I don't know how that's a challenge. The challenge is how she flip-flops back and forth. If she wanted to have an infrastructure bill, if the president wanted to have an infrastructure bill, he should have said it shouldn't become one bill. He should have focused just on infrastructure. But what they want to do is restructure and transform America. You just sat through her press conference. This is the culmination of her life's work in public policy. So it's not an infrastructure bill. It is one bill, and members see it that way. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering, you just mentioned Congress should be focused on holding China accountable for the deaths lost to the virus. Why do you use those words, and what is your proposal for how Congress can do so?
Well, I rolled out a plan a number of months ago. First and foremost, I think we should release all the intelligence that we have to all the nations about where this virus originated from. I think, secondly, we should be able to have the ability for anyone who lost their lives to hold China accountable, be it in the courts, just as we did after 9/11. Thirdly, I think we should make sure that all the nations together should not reward China with the Olympics. So there are a number of things that we can do. We should also make sure that the funding of where our money goes, if it goes to a grant or somewhere else, for the idea of the studying of what was happening in China, make sure no money goes there ever again, or to Iran, or to North Korea and others. I think it's a reflection of, but we put a 5-point plan out a number of months ago about this. So this is nothing new. This is something that we want to hold people accountable to. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. As of today, if the infrastructure bill does not pass, the highway funding runs out.
Doesn't have to.
Well, the Senate's currently working on a stopgap measure. I wonder if they pass that and get that over to the House, will you be encouraging your members to vote for that?
Yeah, if we have a continuing resolution. Think for one moment, the Democrats control every lever. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the presidency. Why are we, on the last day of government funding, having a crisis? Because they can't manage. Why would we even have a crisis about highway funding? Because the speaker's trying to create one to influence members to vote, putting a cliff. If the Senate passes a continuing resolution, which, why didn't we do this sooner so America would not be in a crisis? If they pass a clean CR, and I would like to see Iron Dome in there, but I know Democrats now in the House and in the Senate that Israel is now something that they do not want to support, a defensive weaponry to help Israel. And also keep highway funding going as long as the CR goes. And I think the CR should go into December. I would vote for that, yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Since you have publicly went against the infrastructure bill, would you be happy today if that bill, the bipartisan bill, does fail?
Look, What I would like to see an infrastructure bill that builds roads, bridges, highways, broadband, airports, reforms NEPA. The Republicans put a plan out. If this plan fails today, let's go back to the table. Let's get one together, and let's make one that's an infrastructure bill. Why does everything have to be tied to reconciliation too? From a debt ceiling, you got to spend $5 trillion more to be able to build a road. That's not America. That's wanting to control everything we do. Now, inside this bill, they want to look at any time you spend more than $600 to every single American. Why does the government have a right to know that? Why do they? If you buy a new car, they have to know? You take your kids to Disney World, they need to know? I don't think so. But that's what they want, an all-encompassing. So when you vote for a reconciliation, if you vote for infrastructure, it's all one bill, based upon what the president said, based upon what Speaker Pelosi said, based upon what Bernie Sanders said. Bernie Sanders is tweeting not to vote for it. Yes, sir.
But then why did many Senate Republicans still vote for the infrastructure bill then?
I think that was a different time and a different place, and I think it was a while back. It was the Speaker who tied it together. It was the Speaker who said she was hold it. It was the Speaker, Pelosi, who said yesterday, you cannot vote on infrastructure until they get the reconciliation and the language. It was the Speaker who promised the moderates that they would be able to move forward, to deem reconciliation going forward, because they would have a vote last Monday. We didn't have that vote. Time and again. Unfortunately, we're not in the majority. I would promise you this. If we were in the majority, it would be different. We would have an infrastructure bill just only about infrastructure. I think America would like that. Yes, ma'am.
Senator, just following up on all of this, are you whipping the infrastructure vote that Pelosi says she's planning for today? And for members who do vote for it, what would be the consequences? What is your rhetoric going to be like? What is your message about those Republicans?
My conversation is no different today as it will be tomorrow. Members get elected here, explain to the members what's going on, that this bill is fundamentally different. If they brought just an infrastructure bill by itself up, you would find overwhelmingly Republicans want to work with you and get one through. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Senator McCarthy, one of the members of your caucus, Representative Liz Cheney, said earlier this week she was wrong to have opposed same-sex marriage. Have your views changed after having opposed same-sex marriage?
Look, same-sex marriage is the law of the land, and it's what America holds, and that's the law of the land. There's no difference. It's the law of the land. I support the law of the land. I don't see how that's different. I don't see how that's news.
Last question.
Yes.
Democrats have floated changing the debt ceiling process so there's not, so Congress doesn't have to vote on it every single time. How do you feel about changing that
So we could just spend more and more. It's interesting to me that the credit cards are completely maxed out. And the answer the Democrats have is not to find a way to pay them off, but find a way to get another credit card and get a higher limit. Their only action of why they want to raise this is to spend more money that we spent to save us during World War II. And that's what they're fighting for. And so they're creating crisis after crisis to try to force people to vote that. They control every lever of Congress. From Congress, every lever of government, from Congress to Senate to the White House. And we're sitting here on September 30th, when government funding is going to run out, on whether we're going to get a continuing resolution. They've got the letter so they know when the debt limit goes. You got Secretary Yellen saying it's October 18th. But if they pass the bill today, it's no longer October 18th. Because of the automatic funding that's going to go forward, it's even closer. Why, if you controlled all, why wouldn't your priority be to have a plan to solve that first? Because they want to create another crisis. It is the one definition of the last election when Democrats took over. It doesn't matter if it's the border, Afghanistan, from China, to now the simple funding of government from one year to the next. The Democrats have made everything a crisis. Thank you very much.
Isn't there a risk to Republicans, too, if you hit the debt ceiling?